Okay, so this is a review for Season 8, Episode 7, Broken Arrow. Okay, first off, I loved how animated Ziva was when she got her passport. I think I said this before, but it was just so cute. Side note, was she wearing a camouflage blouse? Anyway, and then Gibbs fixing Ducky's bow tie. I think this episode was like a cuteness overload. And not only was it super cute, it was also like friggin' hilarious. Tony's like WTF expression was awesome. For this, my personal favorite WTF expression belonged to Marg Helgenberger from CSI. Like, she is the best, just like, what expression? He might have dethroned her in my mind. And moving on, we learned that Abby's father is actually dead. I thought it was great that they put that in there because I distinctly remember reading an interview with Polly Pratt in which she said that she plays it like Abby's father is dead, and then Gibbs kind of fills that role for her, and she in turn sort of fills Kelly's role. I don't know, there was this quote and she basically said that, you know, she doesn't decide these things, the writers do, but that's how she always chose to play it. It was a really nice scene and it was great to learn more about Abby's personal life. Another thing was Tony Sr. asking his son for like the all clear on Ziva if the opportunity presents itself. That was definitely funny. So one thing I found interesting but I'm not sure I like is Ziva's undercover name being Sophia. Now I've slogged through a lot of weird and occasionally good Tiva fanfiction, and one trend I've found is a lot of times when Tony and Ziva go undercover, Ziva's undercover name is usually Sophie or Sophia. Not always, but more than once. So on one hand, personally it feels a little hokey, but on the other hand it could be just an obvious shout out to undercovers, which is kind of cool. So I'm kind of on the fence here about this one. I kind of had a little mix up the first time I watched this episode because when I originally watched it, when McGee says to Tony that he just got a glimpse of his next stepmother, I thought he was originally talking about Ziva, but when I watched it again, it looked like he was just talking about that other random girl. Like, wouldn't it have been funny if, like, when they were entering the house and McGee and Tony are watching and then Tony Sr. gets a little handsy, if McGee had said, "There's a glimpse of your next stepmother," that would have been a little horrifying, wouldn't it? I think that would have been funnier, but I don't know. And then another point. When that one guy recognizes Ziva, it made me wonder how much of an undercover asset is/was Ziva when she has such a well-known father. Disclaimer, I don't know much about the spy world, but I always thought that your identity had to remain, you know, like, secret. I mean, I suppose during her time with Mossad, a lot of her operations could have involved just her being on the end of a long-distance rifle, but I always had the distinct impression that she had a lot of undercover experience. Like, for example, she's sent to rub out some traitor at some event way back when, and she's trying to be all incognito. Are we to assume this has never happened before? Like, she's sneaking around on some op, and then some guy comes up to her and is like, "Ziva? Is that you? I haven't seen you since you were this big. Oh, is your father?" And if this hasn't always been the case, when did that become common knowledge? I could be like way off base here, but it just interests me. But I digress. The best scene though was when Ziva took out the guy with like no trouble. I mean, she's in like heels and everything, and then Tony Sr. like punches the other guy in the face, and Tony and McGee run in, and Tony Sr. asks to borrow like his son's handcuffs, and Ziva's just there like crouched on the ground with the other guy just lolling. It was good. And how could you not love the final scene, even if it was a little mushy? With the picture and everything with the fishing. Cuteness overload. Okay, so as far as the rating goes, gonna give this one a good old 4 to 5. It was really good. It wasn't a 5, but it was just a really, really good episode. So 4 to 5. Good score. Ziva? Ziva, is that you? Is that you? I haven't seen you since you were this big. How is your father? I suck at accents.